Hey guys, what's up? It's Dave. Long time no see. I've been busy traveling and just holidays, just kind of taking the time away from making videos and overall markets. I haven't had much time to do this stuff. So getting back at it, especially as it ends the year of 2024 and beginning of 2025. So let's take a look at everything. Let's start with the SPY per usual. Looking at the weekly charts. If we zoom in here, you can see, well, firstly, you can just see this nice rounding bottom from the lows of October 22. And it's just been riding up this entire time. I do have a trend line here drawn from this kind of acceleration off this initial bottom that was down there in 1022. And we can see that it is actually a little off. Didn't load properly here. It's still respecting this trend line overall, though. And what I am looking for is price to continue respecting this trend line. You can see it kind of peaked below that a little bit here, but it ultimately failed, right? And so I'll be watching this trend line. It's hitting it again. The SPYs, it's above the 10-week. We did have a lot of selling volume. Look at that volume right there last week, and then not last week, the week prior to last week, and then last week was an inside week of that. That we did have a shortened week, we had Christmas and all that good stuff. So just be mindful of the low volume environment at the end of this year, per usual. So either way, the general trend is still up. It could start getting weak and maybe we get some sideways chop and consolidation. My brain would go there if it doesn't hold this 580 level. If it breaks that and we get continued selling, I would look for these highs here. Maybe another retest of this 565 and for it to potentially continue chopping sideways. Maybe setting up into the beginning of the year for a further move up or potentially deeper pullback. I don't know. I'm not into calling markets or what they're going to do. I don't care. I play price. I go when it's long. I go long when price is going up, and I go short when price is going down. Whether it's a long-term, it's got to fit the long-term trend, right? So there has to be some sort of reversal in price action, meaning structurally on the weekly, for me personally, of a lower low being created here. So in order for my mind to start to shift, be like, maybe now's the environment, is now the time to short, is if we lose this 565 and we create a lower low. As of right now, like versus this, if you want to count these as lows in a shorter term, technically it did make a lower low. It undercut that and closed back in that range. So that could have been a stop run or a liquidity grab, whatever you guys want to call it. What it did is it undercut it, collected whatever inventory was there, and it closed back up. So if we get further selling and it creates a lower low versus this consolidation area here, where this cost basis is, then we'd have a lot of trapped supply above us, and then that could potentially create a reversal or a downtrend, potentially. I don't know. I'm not calling anything. But as of right now, it's above the weekly 10, the 10 MA, the weekly 10 MA. So it's still respecting the 20. I'm not going to short this environment. Let's look at the Qs. Hanging up pretty decently. Again, creating higher highs and higher lows. We had an inside week last week. It was on lower volume. Just be mindful of the prior week. We did have that higher volume of selling. So it's just kind of like, is it going to chop? Are we going to have another week of an inside week? Are we going to have 2 weeks inside this large red and then start to curl on up? Or is it just going to continue to trend on down? My bias as of right now is still up. These longer term moving averages are still pointing upwards. The trend is still upwards. So I am not going to change really anything. If setups aren't holding, then I'm just going to sit on my hands. I'm not going to look for short opportunities unless I have like some sort of reversion of the mean on a super extended stock. But overall, general market, that's the point of this. I'm not looking for shorts just yet. Let's look at Dow. Under the 10, holding the 20. So You can see here, like all of these weeks here, it respected 20, undercut here, closed above. So this, you know, history-wise, it likes to respect the 20 weekly MA. So this could be a potential area for support buy. It did undercut these lows here. It is still underneath, so we do have supply trapped up above here. Maybe it continues selling down and it finds support at this 416 level and chops sideways, creates another base and heads on up. I don't know, but the same rules apply. It's still creating higher highs and higher lows until this low right here, this is a pretty obvious low, is broken and we have this supply trapped above. I'm not going to switch anything. I'm gonna stay biased longs for this market environment for now. RSP, so this is the equally weighted. You can see we got 3 weeks of selling. It is now near this prior support area. It was resistance, then we had it flipped to support and it moved up. We got some lack of buyers up here, basically. Got 3 weeks of selling. Maybe we had an inside week last week. Maybe it's overbought, oversold. On the RSI, I think it got down to like 20 on RSP last week. Or 20 RSP got down to 20 RSI. So maybe some mean reversion bounce plays could have been beneficial here, but it is closing underneath the 20 weekly MA. So I would be cautious overall with the equally weighted market, other than the Super 7, the Magnificent 7. So I would just be mindful of that for the average stocks. What else? IWM. I've been reading a lot. A lot of people are looking at small caps. It is hitting this trend line again. I have drawn. It could be a decent spot to potentially get some support in this area. I would be, it's kind of there again, close to it. It's got some bottoming tails here, right? So this 217 level is interesting. It's got this uptrend line confluence. If this holds out, I would count it personally as 1, 2, and 3 to validate it. It is under the 20 EMA. So these are EMAs, by the way, in my chart. So I would be mindful of that. So a lot of these charts so far, they're kind of looking, they're closest support levels, right? Prior support, looking to hold support potentially again. All right, let's go to XLV, healthcare, downtrending, creating lower lows and lower highs. Not interested on the long trading time frame. If you guys are investing, it's a different story. This is not part of that. XLF broke out, so it's close to this prior resistance area now. So this could be a decent retest, breakout and a retest. It's also got the 20 EMA, weekly EMA confluence there. So this could be potentially decent area. XLF looks pretty interesting to me. Energy, this is kind of a sloppy chart, but this is what I'm looking at. We do kind of have a double top here. It rounded, hit supply, failed. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of selling prior to last week. Last week it did undercut those lows and it closed within this range. Do we get further selling? I don't know. It is close, to this uptrend line. I was kind of watching this uptrend line here. It broke that little shorter term trend line. I'm going to delete it because it's no longer applicable to me. I was watching this level here. As you can see, it was a prior supply, broke it, and then just continues to act as supply areas here. And that, I'm going to leave that one because it has a strong history. That is not able to be cleared. So XLE, I mean, if you guys are, I don't know, maybe support buyers, I don't know. I don't like it. It's a chop fest, in my opinion. I don't trade energy stocks very often. XLU. Utilities under the 20 EMA, higher high, pretty weak high. So that you could treat this as like a look above and fail. So it failed pretty hard back into the zone here. Opposite end of this range is target. It hit that target, undercut it. Now maybe we have two potential scenarios in my opinion. We can have a look below and fail to where it gets back into this range, accepts back into it, and stays in it. And then opposite end range would be target. So back up here would be targeting it. Or we get a breakdown and a retest and further downside. So if price comes to this 77.50 level, I would be mindful for a potential short. Could be a decent entry. But overall, in this environment, I'm not looking to short. So it's just setup wise. UNG looking interesting, actually. If you zoom in, this could be a decent double bottom here and here. However, in order for it to be defined as a double bottom, it has to break this 1650 level. And let me zoom in a little bit here. That's a little bit clearer, right? So it undercut that a little bit, right? And accepted back into this zone. So it's just ranging. It's letting the longer term 50 EMA catch up. And I'd be looking for a breakout and then a retest to go long in UNG. SPY XLK, let's get back to tech. This is nice, uptrending. It's getting tight, little undercut of what? This looks like a cut even the week of 1125. Maybe it's an equal low. Who knows? Either way, closed up. It's still near its high, so this is nice. Tech would be a good focus point too, in my opinion. XLC, retesting the 10 EMA here. It's just been grinding upwards, right? So XLC looks healthy to me. Gold, this is just kind of ranging. It's getting kind of getting tight in here. A few weeks of just chopping, actually. It's still respecting the 20 EMA. I don't like it too much. I don't trade gold a lot. IWM, again, already went over that. XLI, industrials, under the 20 EMA. Maybe look for this. Didn't mean to do that. This area here to hold as a retest, because I can see this undercutting and getting a little additional selling and retesting this prior support, prior resistance to support to, I don't know, maybe it gets down here, it gets support here. It is underneath these lows, so now we have this trap supply up here. So it depends on how many sellers are going to come into that market there. XLP, staples, it's hitting the 50 SMA, EMA, sorry. I think that's the EMA, I don't know. The 50 EMA. I was watching this downtrend line, broke it, and there could have been a potential retest here. I also have this uptrend line here. It failed both of those. So now the next level here is this 50 MA, and then maybe this prior level here, this around 77 or so. So this could be an interesting potential area. Maybe if you're position traders, start to build in there. I don't know. I don't really do that stuff. So XLY, consumer discretionary. This is pretty extended off of the 10-week. Maybe this has some chop, maybe some time correction, maybe a further price correction and wants to come down and tag that 10 EMA. Looking good. XLRE, looking like a hot mess. Maybe we get a little bit of a bounce here to retest this 4220-ish area. If I zoom out here, you can see reverse head and shoulder. Look, there's a neckline. It is at the neckline right now. So it could just be a breakout of that reverse head and shoulder and a retest. It could be decent support, could be a decent entry here with a real nice tight stop loss. So nice risk reward area. I don't know, XLRE, those names might be interesting to look at. XLB, materials, failed to break the highs. Now it's at the 200 SMA. So, I don't know, it's kind of back in this range. It failed to hold these highs here. It's not easy to read this, in my opinion. Maybe it holds here. It's close to those prior highs here. But yeah, it's under the short term. It's under the 50. It's at the 200. This would be, I don't know if this would be a deep value play. I'm not interested in it personally. All right, ETFs I haven't organized again. Let's just look at XOP. We can look at XOP. Healthcare. I'm sorry, not healthcare. Geez. I want to look at this one because it's at a pretty interesting spot. You can see it's just been ranging for basically the past year. In between this 160 and 127 range. It's at that bottom of the range here. So in this area, it has held support. So this could be a decent support play with a nice tight stop loss with decent risk reward. Another look, I like Jets. Jets is still looking good. It's been a nice run, consolidated here a little bit. Nice another push up. Look at this. So these dojis look pretty similar, right? So if it's going to be similar to this doji, then rest week, and then push up, doji, rest week, maybe we get a push up this week. I think American Airlines looked pretty solid. Let me look real quick before I forget. It was on the day. Like, that looks pretty good for a weekly chart there. Daily, yeah, look at this. Look how super tight that is. So AAL, I'm going to put that on my this week's man, it's been a while since I've been on here, I can tell. Long focus list. And then I'm also going to put it on my this week's whatever. That's super tight. I'm looking, it's kind of like a little ascending triangle there. Watch for a break of those highs there. I got an alert set there. That could be a really nice tight stop loss there. Anyways, all right, so there's Jets, SOX, and SMH. I think these are more so SMH, I think. This is it's a pretty important look, especially for the overall market. It's getting super tight in here. We have an inside week last week, and I would just look for potential continuation. If we can get semis going overall with the market, then obviously that would be healthy for continued upside. However, it's just been chopping sideways. So nothing's really happened just yet. URA, did this look interesting? No, it's chopping around still. It's not clean enough for me. TAN, this is still getting smacked, downtrending, 10 EMA on the weekly. I have no interest in this yet. It's not showing any signs of slowing down and selling. XBI, this continues to get smacked and smoked. Undercut these lows, staying underneath these lows. It's staying down here. What I would like to see is a quick rejection. Maybe it gets back into this range. Maybe it gets back up to this 94.50. Then it would be interesting. But until then, I'm not looking to long any biotechs. Let's see what else was interesting. IWM, already went over it. China, large cap. There's a lot of talk about China going out there right now. Maybe, it finds support in this area. Looks like it potentially could. I don't like China names. I did have some China stocks in my long term. They're just so gappy. I caught this nice run. I think I sold around here once I broke these lows. Then, I got a nice gap up, but this 33.60 level continues to be a supply area. So I'm not interested in China stocks. A lot of people are talking about them. It's not for me. Let's see, XRT. I think XRT looked interesting too. Retail, yeah. So this had a pretty huge base, and now it's just kind of retesting it, right? So we'll see if this retest holds, and if it starts pushing away, I think retail might be continued good stuff to look at. I don't think there was anything really else. All right, yeah, there's the overall market. Overall, indecision in my opinion. A lot of retests of prior resistances and also prior supports. So some sectors look good. Other sectors are kind of dicey, and other sectors are not looking too good with EMAs going down and all stuff like that. So I would continue to focus on the Qs. They're looking relatively strong. XLK looking pretty good, and kind of maybe focusing on the tech area. I think that's what I will do. Otherwise, I think financials was looking pretty decent here. This could be a decent play. Yep. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. There's market review. Trade safe, manage your risk, and do your homework. Be prepared. Later. Never financial advice, by the way. Bye.